Hey, Dancers, Anthony and Rose. Today we are covering how to swing dance for beginners. Now, as you may or may not know, there are multiple forms of swing dancing. So we're going to cover the basic concepts and ideas and differences between the most common styles. So stick around. All right, so here's what's up. A lot of you guys think, if you've never swing danced before, what do you picture in your mind? You picture like people flipping each other over their back between their legs, all this retro swing stuff. That is, that used to be a valid form of swing. Some people still do that stuff, but we're covering the stuff that is danced now. It is now almost the year 2020, so we're covering the most popular styles. If you went out dancing somewhere, what would you see? There's East Coast swing, there's West Coast swing, there's country swing, there's jive, there's hustle, there's shag, there's Lindy Hop, there's all these things, but we're gonna cover the ones, this is a country dance channel, so we're gonna cover the ones you would find in country dancing. And by the way, if you guys are new at this channel, there's a button down here and it says subscribe, and if you hammer on that button, you become an X-Dancer, and then you know when all the awesome stuff happens on the channel. So we're gonna demonstrate the basics, and then we're gonna break them down. All right, guys, we're gonna cover the three most popular styles you'll find on the country dance floor. We're gonna cover East Coast swing, West Coast swing, and quote-unquote country swing. Okay, so first we're going to start with East Coast swing. I'm going to give you a little history lesson now. East Coast swing, as with all forms of swing, originally started as a dance called the Lindy Hop. Okay, so what happened was, and this is your history lesson for the day, you're going to learn stuff, that all these people were swing dancing, and the traditional ballroom dance studios of the day kind of frowned on all this stuff, but then it became really popular. They started getting a lot of people asking for it, so they had to take this Lindy Hop, or this stuff that people were dancing, and simplify it or dumbify it in a way, and that's how East Coast swing was born. Okay, so we're going to take you through the basic steps of East Coast swing. Now, East Coast swing hold is a little bit different in that if we were in a basic dance hold from some of our other dances, that would be here. Now, if we put this hand down and then we V-shaped our bodies open, this is a basic swing dance hold, okay? Some people start from one count or the other. The way we're gonna do this from this video is we're gonna start with a triple step. Triple means three, so it's 3 steps to 2 beats of music, and we're gonna go to the side for side, together, side, then we're gonna go back, side, together, side for a second triple, and then we do a rock step. So leader's gonna step back with their left foot, followers back with the right. We're gonna take a small step, and then replace. It's like we're rocking back and forth, okay? So let me show you this close up. All right, first we're gonna show the leader's footwork. So we're gonna do a triple step, which is 1 and 2. We'll do that again. So it's a small step to the side, we bring our feet together, and then we step again. That is 3 weight changes, but we're gonna count that 1 and 2. Then we're gonna go back the opposite direction for 3 and 4. It's just a triple step, or a chasse as we call it, in the opposite direction. So what we have so far is 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Now the leader's weight should be on the right, and now we're gonna take that left foot that is free, take a small, let me say that again, a small step back with that left foot, put our weight on it, and then replace our weight back to our right foot. Now, one of the common mistakes that we'll see all the time from beginners is that they'll do those triple steps and they'll put that foot back there without stepping on it, or they'll take too big of a step. So make sure when you put that foot back, you actually put all of your weight on it and replace, okay? So now for the follower's footwork. All right, so you can probably guess the follower's footwork is just the opposite of the leader's footwork, and she's gonna step with the right, and she's gonna step, together, step. Her weight is fully on that right foot, and we reverse that for step, together, step. That's 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Now her weight is on her left foot. She's gonna take a small step back with her right, same as before, step, and replace, and again, make sure the weight goes fully on that step. So it's 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. All right, guys, to show you what this looks like together, we're going 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Now there's so many different layers to this that we could talk about, okay? So for right now, we're focused on where the feet go. We work, when we teach, we work from our feet up. Where do the feet go? What part of the foot do we use? How does it affect the knees and the hips and the upper body and everything? But for right now, it's just, think of those little, old-timey things that people had. They had those big sheets of paper with footprints on it with numbers. That's where we're living right now, okay? So we're just going 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Now, if we want to talk about this a little bit more, East Coast swing is a rotational dance, which means it is not just dance back and forth. So if we did this again and we were rotating clockwise, it's still the same thing, but we're actually going 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Now you might notice as we dance this, there's also what you might see is a little bit of a bounce. We call that lilt, okay? So it's not just a flat dance, you actually have this up and down type motion. Now lilting East Coast swing is what we call a downward lilt. That means I'm 6 foot tall. So if I were 6 foot tall, if I were dancing East Coast swing, I'm never gonna be up at 6'1" or 6'2". I might be down at 5'9" or 5'10", and then rise just to my natural height, which means that when we do this, we're going down, straight down. We are not bouncing off the floor and coming up, but it is rotational. So normally when we rotate, we might rotate that to the right, but can also easily rotate that to the left. Now East Coast swing has a lot of turns. We're not going to get into those today, but that basic rhythm seldom ever changes. You're going to have a lot of different things that happen. Hand changes, she turns, I might turn, she might turn a lot. And so if I turn her, I might actually turn her and spin her through these turns. But that rhythm, for the most part in East Coast swing, is going to stay consistent. East Coast swing music tends to be around between 135 and 150 beats a minute, something like that. So it's pretty fast, okay? And so when you're seeing people dancing this, you've probably seen them do all this stuff. Most likely at weddings, receptions, parties, or even on the country dance floor, you're gonna see a lot of East Coast swing depending on what part of the country you're in. But this is one, you gotta know this one. This is a standard, okay? Next, we're gonna do West Coast swing. You know, guys, we really enjoy doing this YouTube channel and our Facebook channel and all that stuff. The one thing that we can't do, that we really would love to be able to do, is help you guys individually, because like it's just a video. Like you pushed play and you're watching the stuff that we put out there. But we put a lot of thought and effort for the last year or so. How do we simulate a one-on-one private lesson? That's the best way to learn, by the way, one-on-one with a professional dancer. They can look at you and find out what it is you need and address those things. How do we simulate that digitally or electronically? So we have developed a brand new technology. It is a virtual training platform where it simulates what it would be like to be in a one-on-one private lesson. We know a lot of our followers are all across the country. We have people across the world to follow us. So how do we put us in your living room 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
You
don't even have to get out of your jammies, okay? Like you can learn from us in person, and that is X-Dance University. So if you visit xdanceuniversity.com, check that out. It is a brand new training platform that simulates a private lesson. All right, so let's do some West Coast swing. All right, guys, West Coast swing, probably the most popular dance next to two-step that we teach, okay? And it is super fun, ever expansive. Now, a lot of people start learning West Coast swing and they think it's overly complicated, and that's probably just because they've approached it in a complicated way. And it's actually really, really simple. Now, we've produced several videos that break down the concept of this stuff that people tell us, man, that makes it so much easier. So we're gonna put a card up here and we're gonna link those down in the description. Check those out for sure. But right now, we're gonna give you a basic overview of what West Coast swing is. First of all, West Coast swing is a slotted dance. Now, a lot of you don't dance, have no idea what I just said, but that means that there's kind of like a railroad track, a slot that goes through here. The followers have this slot where she goes from here to here, and then when she's over there, she realized the grass was actually greener on the other side, and she just ping-pongs back and forth. My job is to go side to side this way and get out of her way and lead her to tell her how, not if, but how she goes to the other side of the slot. So if I'm moving to the side this way and she goes over here to this side, this is the basic motion of West Coast swing. Now, the variations happen from not does she go to the other side of the slot, but how. She could spin, she could do a lot of things, like I could even turn with her as she goes. There's a lot of different things. But the basic idea is that she goes from over there to over there, and I get the heck out of her way and let her pass, okay? Now, I really suggest you guys watch the video that we produced for this. Again, it's down in the description. It talks about this in a much better detail. But the cool thing, if you guys are familiar with East Coast swing we just did a minute ago, the rhythm for East Coast swing and West Coast swing are exactly the same. It's still 6 beats of music. Now, when we started the East Coast swing earlier, we started as 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. So that's triple step, walk, walk. With West Coast swing, we are just going to start with a walk, walk. So basically, we're facing each other. This is her slot. I'm facing her. I'm in the middle of her 2 spaces she's got to be. But we're going to start with a walk, walk, sending her forward for walk, walk. Notice I get out of her way. Notice I'm going to the side. That's 1, 2. Then she's going to do a traveling triple step as I stay here and let her pass for triple step. And then we do what's called an anchor step, which is basically just another triple and stretch. Let me show you that close up. All right, so for the follower's footwork, she's gonna start again with a 1, 2, that's just walk towards the leader is all that's happening. Now she's gonna do a traveling triple step, so each one of these 3 steps have to continually move down this slot that we talked about. That is 3 and 4. And you'll notice at the end of that, she has finished her rotation. She's now facing the opposite side of the slot. And then we do a triple step in place for 5 and 6. She doesn't go anywhere. She basically just stays in that spot. So if we did that again, it is 1, 2. Now she has the traveling triple, 3 and 4, and then she has her 5 and 6. Okay, now for the leader's footwork, he is going to lead her forward for count 1. Now that she started forward, I'm going to get the heck out of her way for count 2. I'm going to get off to the side for 2. I'm going to stay here because she's going to be passing, and I'm going to do it in place, but step back into the middle. That's 3 and 4. Now we have that anchor in place, which is 5 and 6. All right, so all together we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. You can also count this as walk, walk, triple step, triple step. So no matter what we do, it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. We switch hands, she spins, she doesn't spin, she spins multiple different directions, but the idea is she goes from one side of the slot to the next, and I just communicate to her how she does this. Now, West Coast swing, unlike East Coast swing, doesn't have all that lilt. So we wouldn't dance our East Coast swing as 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6. It's going to be as smooth as possible. I'm 6 foot tall. I'm going to stay 6 foot tall. Rose is not 6 foot tall, but I'm not going to tell you how tall she is, but she stays at that height the entire time, okay? So the idea is this slot, she goes here, and the leaders go side to side, leading her from one side of the slot to the next. Now, little history about West Coast swing. West Coast swing, a couple different theories about how it started. It also originated as Lindy Hop, okay? Lindy Hop is the godfather or whatever of all swing dancing, but everything branched off of that. But West Coast swing started, one of the theories is that the floors got really crowded. While East Coast swing, Lindy Hop are more circular dances, they kind of go in every direction. If this room were really, really crowded, we can put people in lines so they're not running into each other. Another theory is that because a lot of times people performed swing dancing on stage or whatever, or for movies, they wanted everything to face the camera. If you ever watch a movie and you watch 2 people talking, they're talking like this. You don't watch them talking like this, right? So what this does is it allows you to be able to see people from that angle like they're having that conversation. It's just a couple different theories about how that started. So that is West Coast swing. Again, there are multiple videos to teach you guys this.
Definitely try it.
Link it down in the description, so check those out. So next, the new one, the new kid on the block, country swing. All right, guys, country swing. Now, we have some mixed feelings about country swing because there are some good things about it and some things that, most professional dancers just kind of, like that is not even dancing. So let's talk about what they are first. Here's the good things about country swing. It's easy.
Yeah.
Like anybody can do it. Like you could do this for learn for 5 minutes and be out on the floor.
It's
so
fun.
It is awesome for people who don't dance. People who don't know how to dance, have never taken lessons, could easily learn a couple things and get out on the floor and have a good time. That's awesome. That's good for even experienced dancers. So for those of you guys who have been dancing for a long time like we have, that are bashing on country swing, appreciate that part of it at least. It's easy to do. Anybody can do it. There's really no footwork or timing or rhythm or all this stuff to learn. It's just doing stuff, okay? The negative part about it is that it's not really dancing, okay? So let me talk about what that means. Dancing indicates movement to music. Now, that means you've got to have a set rhythm that goes along with the music. In order to have great partnership, you have to eventually, at some point, have some amount of structure, because freestyle dancing and partner dancing are just 2 different conversations, okay? Country dancing has no distinct step or rhythm or something that you always do. And the problem with that is when you switch from one partner to the next or whatever, there's no standard. There's nothing that is somehow cohesive to music or whatever. It's like if you learn country swing, it's like, well, what's the footwork? I don't know. What's the time? Yeah, you don't really, you're worried about it. Why are you worried about that? those things matter, okay? I think country swing will eventually come around and figure that out. As with all dances, they'll figure that stuff out eventually. But now we're gonna break down the basic ideas of country swing as it is now. All right, guys, if you guys are watching this video trying to learn what the steps are and what the footwork is and what the count is, you ain't gonna find it here. And the other thing I'm gonna say, you ain't gonna find it anywhere else, because it just, and we've looked, we've tried, it's not a thing, it doesn't exist, okay? It is movements, not to music, but while music is playing. Okay, super easy, super fun. But if we were in this, if you guys are at a party or something and you've seen people doing this kind of stuff and they're just kind of turning and they're sending her out, and this is basically the idea of country swing, all right? It doesn't really matter what you do. There's kind of a push and pull, right? So it's kind of like a push and pull. It kind of does this stuff. Simple. But if you watch us do that, we're paying no regard at all to what our feet do, because again, they haven't yet figured that stuff out yet. And depending on what part of the country, and it might be different from one partner to the next, and that's the problem. So the cool thing about it is, for somebody who doesn't dance, it feels like you're dancing because you're actually moving to music. And regardless of what things you're dancing, it's basically just turning in and out of each other and doing things here and there. I mean, we did a video on this before, country swing, ? And we'll link to it in the description here. But what we talked about before is it's basically hustle. It's just a bad hustle is basically what it is. And we're not knocking on country swing, because we think it's really, really great for the community, because again, it is really simple. It's really easy. Anybody can do it. You know, the people who really love country swing will say, oh, well, it's just not as formal and it's not as proper and whatever. You hate it because it's not. No, we don't hate it because of that. It's just, and we don't hate it. What I'm saying is it just, you know, sometimes you grow up, you know, and then you graduate to better things. And so it's really, really great to have it there, because it's encouraging a whole new crop of people who don't dance, and it's helping to build country, the country community again. So sorry I don't have more of a description of country swing for that. Search online. I mean, you're going to learn some steps, you know, some different hand movements, but that is basically it. There's music playing in the background. We are touching each other and doing stuff with our hands. That is basically the idea of country swing. So for those of you who don't dance, give it a shot. I mean, it's going to be easy. It's going to build some confidence and so on and so forth. So now we're going to demonstrate some of these dances to different music so you can see what they look like to music and pick that up, okay? And again, if you've not done so already, X Dance University, check that out. It is completely new. It's going to completely change and disrupt the dance industry. We're doing a beta test. Like, you can have all of the content that's in there for a month for free. All you got to do is click in there right now. So, all right, let's demonstrate this stuff for you.
I can't help it, no.